The Bakersmen Collective presents.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Rising Brands. Today we have SunGaze Cannabis Company, a product that I definitely enjoy and have been harassing them via DMs or email messages to find out where I can find it in my area. And so I am very grateful to have Doug Henderson, what's your position with the company?
I'm actually the CEO over here for Painted Rooster Cannabis Company, and SunGaze is our flagship beverage brand. So I've been here about a year now, just getting everything together and making sure the farm's looking right and making sure that we're getting SunGaze out to as many people as possible. So.
Right, because the whole Cali Sober movement is happening. People are making the transition to cannabis drinks, and we need a great low THC, solid option that tastes good, because we all have that experience of, grabbing a CBD beverage and just not enjoying the aftertaste or not enjoying the experience. And so I like that you kind of took it to almost the craft beer world with your product. In essence, in creating this cannabis seltzer, what inspired the idea of your brand?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned craft beer because, SunGaze kind of came out of a conversation over some craft beer down at Bale Breaker, which is like, kind of our cousin, right? So the Bale Breaker Brewery, their ownership there, and Painted Rooster Cannabis Company's owners, who are, Yakima locals, very involved in the community out here. They've been involved with Painted Rooster for about 4 or 5 years at that point. And when Bale Breaker, was getting together with Loftus Ranches, which is the hops farms out here, and getting together, with essentially who is our in-house legal counsel, Brendan Monahan, and his wife, Eileen, who are the Painted Rooster owners, they kind of like, well, we don't really want the high dose thing. We'd like to see something that's a little bit lower dose, and we'd like to bring craft beverage to this space. There's a lot of different beverages in the Washington market already, but all of them are 10 milligram to 100 milligram entry point. Nothing that you can really, sit down in session on and actually have a few and really enjoy the experience. They started collaborating on it, and Kevin Smith, who's the head brewer over at Bale Breaker, he came up with this formulation with his team, for lemon ginger, our first flavor. And we launched that back in January after a decent runway, getting everything together. But, we were really looking for a way to make cannabis more accessible to the wide masses, to make the stigma less difficult, to, make it easy for people that are, my mom's age and, and everywhere in between, that we're not trying to get super high all the time. I've been in the cannabis industry for 12 years, so this product wasn't originally for me, but I really love it because I've never really messed with edibles for the same reasons you were just kind of mentioning. They can take you on a ride that you weren't expecting sometimes if you're not used to it. For your first time edibles user, et cetera, 10 milligrams might even be too much. And even for people that are everyday smokers and dabbers and vape pen users, some people don't even mess with edibles because 10 milligrams hits your body differently, right? When it's coming through your stomach instead of through your lungs, it's going to be a different change. So
the body responds differently. It actually turns it into a different and even stronger THC molecule. So you can get almost psychedelic levels depending on your constitution. So it could go from what was a good time to an absolutely never ending experience.
Well, and there's also the thing to consider, which is, if you're enjoying that edible, that edible beverage, or that, that regular, that brownie, that cookie, anything that you're eating, you have one, you're like, oh, wow, that's not bad. And 45 minutes later, you're kind of, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll have another one. Whoops. Shouldn't have done that, because you need to wait that hour on the hard good edibles to really let your body break it down. Your stomach's got work to do just to make that accessible to your bloodstream. Whereas with a vape pen, you take one hit, you should feel it in 5 minutes. And the beauty of SunGaze, and one of the big things that I was really excited about when I first started on the project, because I was in the consulting world before that, working with Paris Cannabis Company and Freedom Farms and brands in Oklahoma, brands in Alaska. I was really excited to get into the nano emulsified space instead of the macro emulsified, right? So nano emulsified means really, really, really tiny molecules going into your system. So when you're drinking a SunGaze, if you drink the entire can in 5 or 6 minutes, you'll probably be you'll probably be feeling it by the time you finish the can.
Absolutely. That's
It's just ready for you, you know? And we like that a lot more.
Yeah, as a consumer of the product, I put it in smoothies in the morning just to get my day like going. I've mixed it with other a little bit stronger THC products when I want to have the fun. But the main consumer base that I've seen and sold it to is that like almost geriatric crowd that has like a glass of wine every evening.
Totally.
Wanted a replacement option or something to throw in there when they're having their little socials with their circle, want to make sure that they're going home well. And your seltzers were right there for them, an easy product for them to pick up and move to. The only thing they said is they wish they were 6-packs.
Yeah, and actually we do have the 6-packs out now. You can buy SunGaze in 2, 4, and 6-packs. You know, you if you're a consumer and you're looking for that product, you know, do me a solid, go into the store and ask for it. You know, say, hey, I would like some SunGaze. Good, they know how to get a hold of us. You know, we're out there. You know, we've got boots on the ground. I have a great team of salespeople that are out there, you know, just repping SunGaze because this is something that Washington has never seen before, and this is something that's really new to the cannabis space in general. And so, being able to get this low-dose product to people, I have to go through my retailer. You know, we're a wholesaler. We don't get to sell direct to market like in California, Colorado, literally every other market except for Oregon. We don't get to be vertically integrated. So I have to get the word through the buyers, through the bud tenders, let them get, you know, liquid to lips and actually try this stuff out. And once they do, they recognize, okay, this is a really easy way to consume just a little bit. And I think a lot of retailers that have joined in with us and have partnered with us are quickly realizing that, you know, what we said is true. We're going to swing your doors with customers that you've never seen before, with customers that have never entered the cannabis space. They've never even wanted to enter the cannabis space. But now I have something that, you know, you can titrate this. You can dose yourself based on 1 can of SunGaze. This is a quarter of a gummy. This is a quarter of a brownie. This isn't much. And so if you drink half a can and your partner drinks half a can and you're both feeling all right, and you're like, maybe I could have a whole can to myself. And then maybe next time I'm going to sit down and have 4 of these in a night. And maybe I'll go out and buy 100 milligram and I'll drink half of that next time. I mean, who knows what that's going to be? Or, you know, I'm going to go and pick up a pre-roll joint while I'm getting my SunGaze for my nephew. Who knows?
Right.
You know, we want to get that engagement and get more people through the door to meet bud tenders to learn more about cannabis, because we're still so much in the dark, even though we're so mainstream, and we don't want to be there anymore. I'm a little tired of it. And and to go back, I'm going to say, you know, I prefer Seattle sober over Cali sober, but that's just, I'm a Washington boy. So whatever it is, right?
Maybe we grab that trend and make it our own, you know what I mean? Because it's happening here in this state more and more. There are events being pushed towards that level. And I just wanted to ask you, which of your products are your favorite and why?
Man, that's pretty simple for me. My favorite product right now, maybe because it's brand new, is the SunGaze, the strawberry citrus. You know, this is our 3rd offering that we've put out, you know, in the SunGaze brand family. And this is what's going to be available, you know, until basically next summer on the beverage space, because, you know, and here's the new labeling and the can. It's beautiful.
Everything.
And I'm loving strawberry citrus. The amount of refreshment, you know, it's been 110, you know, 105 degrees out just last week out here. Having one of those is a real nice way to just kind of take the edge off, you know, feel refreshed, kind of, you know, even if you're hangry, have a SunGaze, wait until you can get to dinner and you'll probably feel just fine. You'll still be hungry, but you won't be angry about it. So.
Right. And I saw via your social media, which is wonderful, by the way. I love the marketing that you put together. Your team is doing a fabulous job
Thank you.
at it. That they're canned and they hit stores tomorrow, or they
strawberry citrus is actually dropping in stores tomorrow. So I know Spokane, and then of course, you know, our hometown, Yakima, right? You know, you'll be able to get them here in Yakima, obviously tomorrow. But then, we've got orders coming in. You know, we kind of opened up orders to retailers on Monday, and we've just kind of let them roll in. And they should be, you know, we are in 60 stores already in the state. You know, we've got a little ways to go to, you know, to be everywhere in the state, and we want to be. You know, just, hey, retailers, call me.
hit
already.
all 500 of them.
Yep. Yeah, or whatever it is. I think it's more like 350 right now. They're selling, but
yeah, they're coming together as groups. Some of them are can't survive the downturn in the industry, and that's real. You know, the market is shuffling all over the place, and we'll see what comes out of it. But I know, as a person who loves your product, and as why you're here, consumers are also loving your product, that your company is going to be one of those that make it all the way through, because you're doing something so dynamic and different for this industry. Without giving out your secrets, what's next?
Man, so we're actually really focused on making sure that SunGaze is absolutely perfect, right? That's on every shelf, that you're able to get it readily. Right now, we're really focusing on making sure that our logistics are out there, that stores know, hey, you know, this is how much we're selling through of this product. How can I make sure that you don't run out? Right, you know, our salespeople working hand in hand with those retailers to make sure that the product can be available to people. We do have some stuff in the works as far as our flower side of the business that I'm really excited about. You know, I've been doing this quite a while in the 502 space as far as cultivation and processing. You know, I've been a BHO extractor, ethanol extractor, CO2 extractor for about 10 years, and so we're working more on our collaborative concentrates line, where we're taking our flower, we're handling it properly. You know, I know what I want as an extractor, the product to look like coming into my lab. And so I want to make sure that anybody that I'm collaborating with that's doing those oils for me is going to be appreciative of that, is going to recognize that, and then they're going to put their standard operating procedures to work as best they can for our product. So when it comes back to us, we're able to gram that out. We're able to get it tested. We're able to put it out to you and take a great deal of pride in it. And so I'm really excited to expand that line a bit. You know, we brought down, you know, 1,900 pounds of flour and 2,000 pounds of fresh frozen last year. This year, we're looking like we're going to do about 2,600 pounds of flour and probably 4,000 of fresh frozen. And all of that is going to go straight into, you know, these collaborations that we've been working on this last year, going out and meeting these labs, going out and meeting other cultivators and processors that want to work with us, you know, because being a sun-grown farm, you know, we're trying to be sustainable. We're trying to keep our carbon footprint as low as possible so that we can be sure we're feeling good about what we're putting out there. And, you know, we're a fully pesticide-free farm, which means every product that you get from us will be pesticide-free. And I'm not gonna equivocate on that. We have to be pesticide free because this goes into a person's body. And
more producer processors need to ride that wave. That's something that, like, as a bud tender, I'm seeing more customers ask, and as a person who creates content and speaks about weed, I'm pushing people that you know, come across our content, start asking which products are pesticide free, start trying to see those testing results if they allow you to see them, or, you know, have the criteria.
Yeah.
You need to be sure of it, because more and more people are telling me they're having reactions to some of the pesticides in their flower. So they're like, I have to avoid it. Okay, so we're seeing the downside of some of the pesticides in copious consumption. We need to deal with it as an industry, and individuals like you and SunGaze and Painted Rooster are doing the right thing.
Yeah, and you know, I've actually been really pleased. You know, I entered the legal market, right, you know, here in Washington, 2014, right when it was young, and we didn't have mandatory pesticide testing, and in fact, we didn't even have pesticide testing available until about 2016. I think Medicine Creek Analytics was the first one to even do that and offer that service, because you need a different type of machinery in your chemical laboratory to test for that. But recently, you know, they have passed rules now where everything has to be pesticide tested, and if it's above the limit, you can't sell it. You have to destroy it. And so that's going to push a lot of cultivators to really dial down on how they're dealing with their integrated pest management and how they're going to communicate that message to the customer. Because there's, you know, in my mind, in the wide market, you know, maybe it's too much, but in my mind, there are pesticide-free farms and there are no pesticide-applied farms. And we're a no pesticide-applied farm. So it will not pop because it can't, because we never sprayed it, right? And there could be travel from other fields, you know, just because of normal agribusiness. But the reality is we think about that before we even plant it. we talk with farmers in the area. We're surrounded more by organic crops. We grow a lot of hops out here in Moxie. We're surrounded by more organic crops than we are commercial crops. And so we're not going to have that's real pressure coming into our farm, so that anything that you're buying from us, you can trust us.
Right.
This is always going to be what we say it is, and I have no desire to hide that. We have no reason to hide from anybody. I'll stand in front, beside, around, all around our products every day.
That's what we're asking, right? Don't say pesticide free on your label. And what that really means is that it was in the veg, not in the flowering stage, or your room was sprayed before you brought the plants into it. And more importantly, what I learned is, like, if you add heavy metal testing, now you've got a Department of Health certified product in the state of Washington. And that is another move the industry might want to consider making. It is a little bit, I'm not quite sure how much more costly it is, adding more testing, but I think that is interesting to see that we always had this divide, right, between Department of Health certified products and just like state legal products, and now we're getting closer. But honestly, there shouldn't even be a divide across the board.
And the technology and the skill is out there, especially in the Washington state industry. I'm biased because I'm from here. I'll be the first to say that, but I think we grow some of the best cannabis in the world. And, a lot of the stuff that we do here is biologically controlled and not chemically controlled. And using those biological controls, that's one thing we rolled out off the bat, because the big problem that I was always having is I would have farmers coming to me and saying, hey, I want you to make me some oil. And I'm like, great, what'd you spray on it? Oh, I just did this and this, but it was only in veg. I'm like, okay. And I run the oil and I get the test come out the other side. And sure enough, there that thing is. Now I've got to clean my machine. I've got to take extra steps. I've got to add extra labor and extra money and pass those costs on ultimately to the consumer. Why do we need to do that? We can just not grow with them, and then we don't need to take those extra steps. Yeah, obviously we're going to clean the machine between farms, but a clean farm run next to a clean farm, run next to a clean farm, that's going to make that processor's life real easy, and ultimately the customer is going to benefit.
Well, we love to hear it. And perfect brand to add to our Rising Brand series, because you guys are shooting stars in this industry. And I love to hear people like yourselves are in charge of these companies and caring about consumers, because that's generally where we all start out first. We're consumers first, patients first. And so I'm glad that you put that into your business model, right? The end needs of that consumer. And I thank you for joining us today on Rising Brands. Is there any last tidbits you want to drop on them?
You know what? Buy Primos, buy Geminis, buy SunGaze, buy everything you can from us. You're going to enjoy it. We put a lot of love into this. I have 13 people here on this farm that show up every day, 40, 50 hours a week to make this happen for you. We'd appreciate your support. And, for those that are already SunGaze fans or already, smoking on Painted Rooster, we appreciate you, every single one of you. So keep coming back. We'll be here.
Where can they find you on social media? Because we like to break that fourth wall, right, between y'all and the consumers. So see you.
Great. Yeah, you can check us out. Our SunGaze page is @DrinkSunGaze, and for Painted Rooster, we're @Painted Rooster. So real easy to find us. You can link through. If you search any of those things, you'll probably find my personal page. That's basically my living extractor's resume, since 2015 when I put an Instagram up, not knowing what it was, but I guess I know how to use it now. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah. Thanks for the time.